Saturday night at 7 p.m., which means it is time for a video. Let me get everything refreshed over here so that it acknowledges that we have a video going to happen. All right, so far we're batting 1,000. I don't know if you can bat more than 1,000, but I see my screen, and that is a very good sign. Hey, Melissa. Hey, Karen. Appreciate you guys coming. And I hope you are having a good weekend and going to do something fun on Saturday. Me, I'm going to do this, blog this for tomorrow, and probably go to bed. We live a pretty exciting life, I'm just going to say. Hey, Marva and Claire and Faith and Rosie. Hi, Angie. All right, so here's our card. It's a sneak peek of the new Jolly Delivery stamp set and dies. And it's a good look at the North Pole Delivery specialty paper. Now, this has 2 sheets of die cuts, and I've used a few of those this go around. Hello, everybody. Appreciate you coming. And then it has some really cute DSP designs, and I've used a bit of it. I've done some fussy cutting of these envelopes and packages, and you can see a pretty pool party. And we're going to use a little bit of this. We're going to use a little bit of that. And you can see some of the other designs. These actually do die cut with the included dies. Some of these do, so that's kind of handy. And then you've got one with all sorts of fun postage on it. And then some cute little trucks. And these die cut as well, so you can pull them out and use them as you need. So very cute paper, very, very cute paper. I really like it. And it's got garden green. Again, I've said it 1,000 times, so I won't say it again. But it isn't my favorite of the Christmas greens. But it does use Poppy Parade, and that one is truly one of my favorites. These will be part of the September to December 2025 mini catalog coming on the 3rd of September, so that's like right around the corner. If you can't wait, join today, add these to your starter kit. Get $125 worth of these goodies for just $99 plus shipping, so that's a pretty good lick. Then you can buy the rest of it with your 20% discount. Okay, so here's our card. And what's kind of fun about it, you can see I've fussy cut some of those cute little envelopes and things, and you can see some background stamping there and some little paw prints. Why are there paw prints, you ask? Well, let me tell you, because this is also a pop-up card. And I have used that cute little, I'm pretty sure that's a Bernese Mountain Dog. I feel pretty confident. And I might have gotten a little carried away with the paws, so don't do so many paw prints, but I was really having too much fun, and so that's how it went. This little pop-up piece is super, super simple, so I'm going to show you how to do that, and we're going to get this decorated and get it going. So let us away, shall we? Okay, now I have my things cut out here, and we're going to start by doing a little scoring and folding with my handy scorer and folderer. Okay, and this is my card base. It's Poppy Parade, and it's pretty basic, 4 1/4 by 511, and then I'm going to score it at 5 1/2, like so, to make our card base. What did that do? That did not hardly score at all. Let's try that again. Let me try that again. There we go. That got it better. Okay, so now we can, I had to put a little bit of, put a little bit of oomph behind it. All right, and now this piece, which is the pop-up piece, is 4 inches wide. Actually, it's 4 1/4. I hope I cut it 4 1/4. Oh, I did not. Good Lord. Here we go. Here we go, y'all. I'm just saying, I'm gonna mess it up. I've already been able to tell. Okay. Wait, it is 4. What am I doing? You know what? My brain, I have been making beans and greens all day, and all I can think of is how many minutes in the pressure cooker. Okay, so this truly is 4 inches wide by 10 1/2 inches long. And we'll go ahead and get our arm out, because we're going to need it. And I'm first going to score it at 4 1/4. Why did I think it would be 4 1/4 wide? That makes no sense even. And then we'll do 5 1/4. And 6 1/4, like that. And then we can put this away. We are done with Mr. Tremor, unless I bork it, and then we'll get Mr. Tremor back out. And you can see basically what you have is you have this center section that is going to become the pop-up. So we're going to fold these pieces and give them a nice little... Yeah, Mary does need another shot of Mountain Dew, but Mary has learned she better stop drinking Diet Mountain Dew about 2 or she's going to be up. Not half the night. I will sleep for about 2.5 hours and then wide awake. Okay, so we have this piece cut. We're going to cut, folded. We're going to fold the other score the other direction. And then we'll fold the second long one like so. So basically what you're doing is you're making a W or an M, depending on how you roll with that. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a little bit of decorating here, and then we can decorate our card front. Okay, so I've got 2 pieces of the North Pole Delivery Specialty DSP that I'm going to use to decorate the 2 center pop-up pieces. And these are 3 7/8 inch wide by 3 7/8 inch long. And I'm just using the same DSP front and back, or top and front, however you want to look at it. And it fits in there just nice with our normal kind of reveal around the edges. Okay, and then I made this piece so that it would look like a little scene behind our pop-up. Okay, so this is one of those times when you want to kind of think about how you're cutting the DSP. All right, in this case, this direction is 4 1/8, and this direction is 3 7/8. So be thinking about that when you make this card, even if you don't use this DSP. If the DSP that you are using has a distinct up and down, just be thinking about it as you're cutting it. All right, side. Okay. Now let's go ahead and put a couple of sentimentes right here. And we're going to also put our paw prints. Now, let me just show you a little something. On this one, I have the dog that's facing this way. What I have left to use is a dog going that way. So I'm going to face him the other way, which means my paw prints are going to come from this way. Okay, because I'm kind of making it look like he went like that and then started walking. Yeah, just humor me, okay? Just humor me. I'm just saying. All right, let's see. Where are my sentimentes? That's not them. These are them. Okay. In Poppy Parade ink, my favoriteest red. I hope we can help your nightmare. I do. All right, we're going to stamp Special Delivery. And then I have on the other side of my block, I have From Here to There. And it all kind of makes sense because it's, you know, it's like mailing stuff. Okay. Photopolymer stamps are coming. I know that y'all have seen it soon, like starting in November. The only thing we're going to make are photopolymers. So that will make some of you very happy and some of you not as happy, but I think we can all adjust. All right. Now I am actually going to use fewer paw prints here, I think. Let's see if I can do that. I said it, so we're going to see. I'm not going to do it. I can already tell. It's going to be the same number of paw prints. And I'm not doing a good job stamping them either. We're going to go around, and then we're going to go up. I'm going to push that down because I'm getting a little messy. Let me clean off my stamp there, or my block. I got a little carried away. Okay. Now, we also are not going to be having our Stampin' Write markers after this next catalog. I'm going to stop right there. But I'm planning to keep mine. And I'll tell you why. Because of the thing that I just did right there, which was kind of bork up that stamp. And so I am going to just kind of fix it. So I would highly recommend. Now, I could probably use a journaling pen with this, but since I still have my black marker, that's what I'm going to use. There. See, it's like it never happened. like Memorex, like it never happened. Okay, now before I put this in, I'm going to go ahead and decorate my front because it'll be a lot easier. To do that, I'm going to take my Poppy Parade card base and I'm going to take a 4 1/4 wide by 5 1/2. I'm going to show you a tip. I'll show you a little trick. When you are making a full-size panel like this, oftentimes you'll get it adhered and then you'll be able to see it at the bottom like that. Let me show you a little trick that will minimize that, okay? Can you all see the 5 1/2 mark right there? When you measure normally 5 1/2, you would put the DSP right on the line, and that would be 5 1/2, and that is exactly what it is. But when you're doing this kind of a front panel, go just a little bit short of the 5 1/2 inch line. So you can just see the 5 1/2 inch line peeking out there. If I went normal, I would go like that and you wouldn't be able to see the 5 1/2 inch line, okay? Do you see the difference? It's not very much, but it's enough to pretty much all the time make the difference. So that is how I have cut this here. It's just a smidgen short. All right. Now we'll use a little bit of liquid glue. Debbie, are you still on your cruise? If you are, I just need you to know, even if you're not, even if you're done with it, I am a little jealous. I would really like to do a river cruise, I think. I think that sounds pretty fun. And so, you know, maybe one day, there will be a river cruise for Mary. Okay, now let's just see what we got here. All right, I see nothing peeking around. And the way this paper is against that Poppy Parade back, even if it's kind of showed on the edge, people will be like, oh, there's that grid again. Okay, so there we go. So there's our card front. Now, I've used perennial postage, the perennial postage die set. And if you know this die set at all, you will know I am missing this 4th level die right here. I have no idea where it went. I'm fixing to replace the die set because I really want that one. But I used this one, this next to the largest one, to make a garden green post stamp. And then I used this 3rd from the smallest. So actually it's 2nd from the smallest, I guess, because it's 1 first and 2nd, to make a black one. All right. Don't be like me. Don't lose part of your die set. It's very annoying. So before we get that adhered, I'm going to take this little postage stamp image right here. It's actually more like a compass rose, but we're going to call it a postage stamp. And I'm going to stamp it all over the back, where I'm going to stamp randomly, but not randomly. Have we talked about triangles? If you take a look, what I'm doing is I am making new triangles with each stamp. So right now I have a triangle here, I have a triangle here, I'm going to make a triangle over here. So here's a point, there's a point, everywhere a point, point. Here's a point, there's a point, there's a point. Here's a point, there's a point, there's a point. Okay, do you see? Does that make sense now? Is that making sense? So what it does is it makes it random, but sometimes when you're trying to be random, things don't get random. The randomness stops, and then it starts to look like a grid when you didn't mean for it to be a grid, if that made any sense. And we're just gonna keep going like that. And occasionally you'll lose track of where your triangles need to be, but if you generally do that, you will see that it becomes a randomly stamped background. Yes, lost dies are the worst. I think they're actually worse than lost stamps, because I think lost stamps sometimes show up. Lost dies, I don't know where they go. Okay, now I'm going to take my little paw prints again, and we're going to just put some right over the top of our background. And I'm going to go part way in like that. And then we'll come up here So next up, glad that made sense. Let's go ahead and adhere this, and I'm going to adhere this with liquid glue at kind of a jaunty angle. You are welcome for the tip. I really like making full-size panels, but I know it can be a little frustrating sometimes when you're trying to fix. Oops. Let's put that on so those paw prints are going the right direction, shall we? Let's do that, Mer. All right, there we go. And then this little guy, he's going to go almost straight, but tip just a smidgen to the right. And again, he's going to be on with liquid glue. Okay. Just a smidgen to the right, like that. Okay, now, on a piece of Very Vanilla, where's my lid? Here we go. On a piece of Very Vanilla, I stamped, I knew I had an extra one of those. I stamped, I've got some die cuts here, but I stamped this little mailbox guy in Tuxedo Black Mint Ink. So I'm going to take my Poppy Parade blends, and I'm going to use the light blend to color the background, or the front, if you will, of the mailbox. And then I'll use the dark one to kind of highlight the edges and that center section, like that. All right, there we go. I guess in the North Pole, all mailboxes are red. This is the only thing I can think of. China and Russia. That is interesting. So add my new dies to my new sheet. Oh boy. Yeah, Angie, that's depressing, huh? Ooh. Hey, Mallory, thank you for joining. All right, so now we'll use the dark Poppy Parade blend. And it's not a huge difference, but I think it's enough to make it look like it's a little bit different. Around the slot. And then we'll do the center. You know, that's the part that they pull out, I guess, to get the mail out. And then we'll do this final leg. Okay. Like that. Now, I'm going to adhere him with some dimensionals, and because I kind of want to tuck my packages and whatnot in there, I'll go ahead. I'm going to put the dimensionals sort of towards the middle. It's not like it's really going to matter if they're out at the edges. It's not going to fall out, not going to fall off or anything like that, I don't think. All right, now, I'll try to color that middle because I'm sure my blend. Well, the biggest tip I will have is to use the brush end, which makes no sense because it's bigger. But if you will just barely touch the tip to the paper, you know, it kind of spreads just a little bit. So just barely touch the tip right between the lines. Don't touch the line if you can help it, because it will tend to spread forward. If you need to use your color lifter, you've got to let, oh, I put that down on that thing with the lids off. That was dumb. You're going to need to let the ink dry really well, like 15 or 20 minutes, okay? And then you can use the color lifter. And when you use the color lifter, what you're going to want to do is, if I have a little bit of overshadow right there, okay? If I waited my 15 minutes, I would go like this, in like that, okay? And you can actually see it work, and just ignore it. It isn't going to go away. It's not like an eraser. It's not going to go away right away. But it will lighten it up, and it will probably take it off, especially if you chill a minute and maybe do it again, okay? Or you can do like I'm going to do. I'm going to cover it up with some die cuts. Just saying. All right, I hope that helped a little bit. We're going to put him on here, and he's going to be a little bit crooked because I want him kind of straight. So nothing is straight until we get to him. Now, all of my little die cut guys are packages of some sort, or envelopes of also some sort. And I've got a couple of really cute ones like this, and like that, and like this. And let's see, I think that might be all the things I have. Keep these in arrears and waiting. So, oh wait, are you sneezing? She's sneezing. She's got this little ladylike sneeze, and she's going, achoo, Achoo! Unfortunately, she's also bonking her head a little bit when she sneezes because she's silly. Okay, I've lost one of my... Okay. Well, I need to cut another envelope. You guys are going to have to watch me fussy cut a little envelope because I need the envelope. It needs another envelope. All right. Where are you? Paper. I had a scrap waiting to be cut. I don't want to cut up another piece if I can help it, if I have one sitting here somewhere. Okay, let's see. Does this one have one? Nope. Okay, I'll use this one. Here we go. Okay. I want one just like that right there. How big do I want? It doesn't need to be huge. I don't think I need a huge one. No, it can be small. But let's take this one right here. This one looks good. And I tried to cut it so that you could still see that little strippy stripe on the edge. Let me get that. I'm just going to get it cut out of there because it's kind of a pain. There we go. All right, so we'll just cut right along the top of that striped edge and along the side and across the bottom. Like that. And I'm going to put that where I can find him later because I might need him. Okay, so now let's go ahead. Look behind the red piece. No. Oh, there it is. Oh well, now I have two. And then there were two. So that's fine. We're just going to start doing some adhering. The first couple will be with liquid glue. I'm going to slide him behind here like that. And then this guy's going to be behind here like this. Okay. And then let's see, let's put one of these over on the other side, tucked behind our mailbox. Now, I think if a postman allowed this thing to be so full that it had to have everything around the edges like that on the ground, I think he should be, you know, at least spoken to. Just saying, spoken to gently, of course, because it's probably Christmas, but still, he should be spoken to gently. Okay. But he should be spoken to because this is unacceptable. You know, it's mail fraud. If nothing else, it's mail fraud. All right, let me get a little smaller piece of dimensional. Hey, Joan, glad you're here. And thank you, Julie, for finding my piece for me. All right, I'm going to put this, I'm going to slide this just partially under. And then I'm going to take a second envelope. These remind me of those old-timey airmail envelopes, only those were blue, weren't they? Mostly blue? I guess I should take the lid off that. You know, a dimensional, this is a pro tip, a dimensional will work a lot better if you take its lid off. Just throwing that out there. Yes, don't ever say I don't teach you anything, because I just taught you something very, very important. All right, and we'll put that on like so, and then we'll put another, here, let's get this one dead. There we go. Okay. We'll put him down like that, pick him up, and put this little pool party guy, and we'll put him like so. I like him like right there. And then we'll put this guy, and let's put him, we're going to put him right there, but he's got to go up so I can cover up that hot mess I made. You know what we're going to do? We're going to add another envelope. Why? Because I can. Because it's my card, and if I want there to be another envelope, I can do it. Hey, Mario, appreciate you coming. We're going to put this little guy right here. Like that. There we go. Okay, Sep-Dec, okay. And then we're going to slide this one in underneath like that. And then we'll put this little guy went to market, this little guy went home. You know, when I was little, I didn't actually know what that meant. Now that I know what that means, it's a little sadder to me. All right, we'll put that guy right there. And then we're going to make us a sentiment. Okay. Now I have a 3/8 inch wide piece of Pool Party, and on the blog it's going to say cut to fit. Okay, so this is what you're going to do. Exactly. That's why your dimensionals will not stick, because you don't take the top off. See? Every day you should learn something new. Okay, so what you want to do is you can have it any length you want, but stamp it towards the left side. You don't have to, but it'll help. If you don't, you'll have to trim both sides. And then you can drop him like that, and then just cut him off. Equal distance. So you have about the same at the front and the same at the back, just like that. And then we're going to put him on right about there. So I'll put a dimensional over here. And a dimensional right there. See what that looks like. Just like that, okay. And I think I can put a little bit of glue right there. You don't know where I'm saying when I say right there, but that's where right there was, just right there. Take these lids off. Okay. And then we'll put him on sort of straight. Try to make him kind of straight. If he's not straight, the world won't end, but it might bug you a little bit. All right. Hey, BC, hello from Colorado. Where in Colorado? Somewhere fun, I hope. Okay, now there's some new dots in this Jolly Delivery suite. They're called Deer dots, D-E-A-R, not D-E-E-R. And I am going to use a couple of the Pool Party ones to add just a little bit of fun to this very much just blackness. And we'll do like that. And that will be our card front. Okay, so now it is time to put our centerfold in, as it were. I know, we're watching, we read these for the pictures. We're going to put our centerfold in and then decorate the pop-up right quick. Okay, so to do this, what you're going to do is you're going to fold it like so. Okay, kind of want to be sure that it's still straight. It could be the grocery. Little pig going to the market. Yeah, I know. I know. I know. I think part of my young self knew what that was, but not really. Okay, so here's how you do this. You're going to first put glue on the sentiment side of your insert, okay? So you're going to put your liquid glue here like so. Try not to get liquid glue all over you. You could use Stampin' Seal for sure if you're more of that kind of a person. When you put this on, you're not going to put it up towards the top, okay? You want to get the reveal around the bottom to be what it would normally look like in a card. Okay, see how that is? It's got that normal reveal around there. And you can kind of play with it a little bit because you've got liquid glue. Okay, so that's step one. Step two, close the panel again. Make sure it's staying straight. Make it work. Put liquid glue on this side, like so. And then just close the card front down and give it a little pushy push. Glad you're here this time, BC. I appreciate that. And you can kind of turn it over, and then you can kind of give it a rub, a dub. Gosh, I scared myself right there. I thought I put it in backwards. That wouldn't have been as funny as what I was doing. Okay, so there you go. Now you have your pop-up ready, and all you have to do is decorate. And you can decorate however you like. But what I thought would be fun would be to have our little guy go into town. And here's town. Where's town? Hey, town, where'd you go? Here's town. So town is kind of around there, but town is also right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and first adhere our town, which is just a building. Put a little bit of liquid glue near the bottom, okay? And you can just kind of adhere him like so. And I don't go down too close to that fold, okay? You don't really want your things to be there because it's going to do a lot of this. And if it's too close, you run the risk of there being some issues, okay? Now, Then I'm going to use some dimensionals, and I'm going to use dimensionals on his feet and on his schnoozle. Okay, oh, I got a little die cut I didn't get out of there. Okay, so let's put our feet dimensionals. And schnoozle dimensional. Like that. And if I need more dimensionals, I will use my Twizzlers to make that work. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. That's okay. Dimensionals, sometimes, I think you were auto-corrected not very nicely. Okay, so we're going to put him on like so. So he's kind of popped up a little bit. And then I've got this little pole guy. I don't know what it is, but I thought it was cute. So I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue on there. And slide it behind him so it's just sticking up like that. Okay, and you can just sort of give it a little smush like so. And then there he is. Is he not the cutest thing ever? Okay, so let's put that aside. That is the card. I mean, the card is now officially done. Sorry, I had to have a drink or we were going to have a coughing fit. So there's our card. Now let's go ahead and do a quick decorate on our envelope. Yeah, it sure would be a fun card for a kid or a kid at heart. You are correct. Now let me get my tuxedo black, and what I'm going to do, so I'm going to put this mailbox on my envelope front. Okay, and then I'm going to clean off this block. My goodness, Mary, what a piggy stamper, Mary. Okay, we're gonna put a few paw prints around like the dog came to help mail the mail. And by a few, I mean a bunch, and then I didn't do a very good job, so I have to fix them a little bit. Okay, there we go. And then we'll color him. And I'm going to show you a little more trick. This is my light poppy parade. So you can see that when I am coloring, I'm really only barely getting up to the line. Okay, get up to the line, just touching it barely, and then let it do its thing, okay? If it doesn't spread enough for you, go back, but give it an opportunity to kind of move out, smoosh out in that, on that paper. All right, and I am really, really barely touching the paper with my brush. I know it seems counterintuitive to use the large end, but that tip is way smaller than the tip end is. Okay, the brush tip is. And it should not move that tuxedo black, but I wouldn't push your luck. You know what I'm saying? Oh, see how big that is? I know it doesn't look big, but it really is, comparatively speaking. And for this, I'm really just kind of going down the center. And then if I see some white sticking out once I'm done, I'll come back. You're really just thinking about coloring. Also remember, I didn't say it, but remember when you're coloring your envelope front with the blends, you don't want to push down really hard, because if you do, you're likely to have bleed through on the back. All right, so that's all I'm going to do on the front, and then we'll put another piece of that Pool Party DSP on the envelope flap, and we'll be done ski. Only about 5 minutes too long, you guys. Sorry about that. I know you're all headed out to a rave tonight, just like I am. By which I mean shower and bed, but okay. You could be going to a rave, I don't know. I wouldn't be judging if you were. Alright, do an easy little fussy cut. And we're going to be done ski with this pop-up center card. I might call it the pop-up cinder fold, just because that's kind of fun. All right, so there you go. Look, see the difference? One guy's going to town east, and one guy's going to town west. Oh, they're going to meet in the middle. Aw, aren't they so cute? All right, you guys, I hope you've enjoyed this. And, yep, Mallory, that's right. The brush end is the best. Brush is the best. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you'll be back on Thursday. I do not know what we're going to make, but it's hopeful that you will love it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, y'all. Be safe.